Like, I can already feel like you guys are gonna like do cool stuff.
Into the motive.
Just being good to one another.
Yeah, you guys are doing a good thing here.
The people at the top collaborate, and the people that are at the bottom compete.
Yeah, it resulted in me shooting him.
I was charged with 109 and a 50.
Ultimately, you'll get to where you want to go if you push yourself enough.
I genuinely love this conversation.
I love the Motive Podcast.
Welcome back to the Motive Podcast. I'm your host, Leo Kosuch. Alongside me is my co-host, Kyle Cohen. And joining us today, a very special first-time guest and a very special returning guest. Second time. Guys, please welcome Luke O'Brien and Chris Lerch, the boys from Not Pizza. Thank you for being here, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was awesome.
100%.
The
Luke,
boys from Not Pizza. I love it. It's got a nice ring to it.
The Not Pizza. You guys aren't pizza.
We're not.
There you go. But I want to start, if we don't mind, just to get a little background, because I feel like we talked about Luke's story on episode, it was 80-something. Go listen to it if you want the full background. Chris, what's your full story? So where you grew up, your upbringing, all that. Let the crowd hear it.
Yeah, man, so I'm a Chester County, PA, Spring City, O&J Roberts graduate, 2005.
Okay.
Went off to Millersville, did the Lancaster thing.
Okay.
Ended up coming back to the area, settled in Royersford for a bit, and fell into a job at the 422 Sportsplex, indoor sports facility, managed that building for a number of years, and moved on to this regional director position, doing marketing for the building. And at the onset of the pandemic, I actually found myself in a little bit of an interesting situation where I wasn't working. Our facility was shut down. I was at home doing daddy daycare with my two young kids and just looking for a way to get involved. And I started something called Hello 422, which is a big platform for promoting small local businesses along the Route 422 corridor, kind of like Phoenixville, Royersford, Limerick, Pottstown. And that's what kind of led me to meeting Luke, which was right before this Not Pizza opportunity.
Okay. That was. I know that was a quick story, but you summed it up there. How was OJR? Just curious. How did you like high school? How were you as a child?
Wildcats.
Oh man, I loved my time at O&J. I was a big time baseball player.
Okay.
It was
Hockey
a great
too,
time.
right? You're a hockey player,
but
right?
hockey was like kind of separate from
There we go.
school. I was a little bit different.
Who did you play for?
So I was roller hockey. Big time roller hockey guy. Shout out to all those roller hockey players who are actually playing like indoor roller hockey, not just like out in their driveways.
But you played in college too, then,
I
right?
did. I played
Really?
at Millersville, started a little professional roller hockey team. We won a national championship in Colorado. So,
Wow.
but yeah, O&J was great.
What did you study at Millersville?
Marketing.
Okay.
Yeah. So serial marketer.
So yeah, tell us a little more about, what is it? Hello 422.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's the pandemic. It's a weird time, and I just wanted to do something. I felt like I was contributing. I saw all these small businesses struggling, restaurants that couldn't be open, salons that couldn't have clients coming in, places that were just shut down. So I was like, there's got to be some way that I can help out and make a positive impact. And I came up with this idea called Shop Small to Win Big, which was a week-long initiative where I was looking for small businesses to each contribute like $100 gift card to their business in hopes that during the course of the week it would, I could use all those gift cards as a prize to incentivize people to shop small.
Yeah.
I ended up with 86 participating businesses. So I had a prize of $8,600. And during the week, we did like close to $90,000 in sales for these businesses. It was crazy, so much more than I expected. It got, local media coverage. The person who ended up winning donated most of their winnings, and it was this huge, big thing at what was a really interesting time. And it kind of just led to the next event for Hello 422 and continued. And, now I work with over 100 small businesses every year and help promote them through my platforms. And yeah, it's turned into a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, 100%. I want to ask this, I'm thinking here, do you guys still think COVID has an effect? Like, the pandemic still has, affected how we operate and just, the media world, especially, with everything being online? I don't know. It's, a very broad question, but I feel like there's lingering effects still, but at the same time, I feel like it's almost, back to normal, before that time.
I think it's hard for us because you guys got to experience COVID before and after as adults. Is that correct?
Right, as some, yeah.
Because we did.
In your
we were
profession.
in middle school when it started. So.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think COVID sped up the process of a lot of things happening. Like you saw a huge emergence of like Amazon, for example, which was already such a big thing. But the fact that, businesses and places were closed, like the ease of online shopping and being able to do things from home as opposed to venturing out, I think it just really increased the speed at which people leaned into that. So I think you have the lingering effects of that. And I'm so involved in like the small business world, so I see those impacts from it. So I think it's just and Amazon's just one example. I think there's a number of other examples of just kind of, getting away from leaving your house to go places and just, what can be consumed and done at your own home. And it's, been a negative impact for a lot of small businesses. I think a lot are still feeling those.
Definitely.
Yeah. I feel like kids like in school had it the worst, and small businesses, like it was different. It was just a case by case thing. Like it was kind of different for everybody. Like for me, it was actually kind of nice. Like, cause I was working in education, so I wasn't I wasn't doing my marketing thing. So the school I worked at was just like, stay home.
Right.
Indefinitely.
Yeah.
We'll let you know, but we're going to continue paying you. So like, and my daughter was born 2 weeks after the shutdown. So for us to be able to stay home with her and me not to have to go I wasn't going to get any like paternity leave at the school that I work at. So now I'm like on paternity leave, paid. I like wrote an album. I was like running 10 miles a day. Like it was a great time for me, but for my students, it was probably horrible. Like, stuck at their homes, they're missing out on their education. Like for kids like you, if you were like a senior in high school or like a freshman in college at that time, like you missed out on so much cool stuff,
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was just gonna say, like, now that we're seniors, I could not imagine like literally 2 weeks ago, like I've kind of felt like we're over this hump now where it's like we got like 8 Fridays left in our high school career that we've been in for 13 years, and it's, like I feel like we're just sailing to it. Like I just submitted a graduation speech, which like was almost like surreal last week. I hope I get it. I really hope I get it.
To give a speech at the graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
I hope he does too. I read it. It's pretty awesome. So.
I put in some I was like, when I met Kyle Cohn in 7th grade in a computer science class where we like bombed it or whatever. Like I don't know. But
how many people are vying for the speech? Do you know what the?
I have really no clue. I don't think it's that many, but
I think it's mainly just grade level administrators, right? You're saying like how many people are trying to get the speech? You're saying, oh, okay.
I don't think there's a lot, but I think the people who are people that are like-minded and want to get the speech and want to work hard at it. Like I think it's going to be some strong competition. Yeah. But I think I got a shot. But yeah, I couldn't imagine being a senior in high school and just having like that. Now I can like in a lot of ways when you look back on it, like you do have to be grateful that like it happened kind of when it happened. I wasn't a senior. I talk about, and I'm sure it's the same way with high school. It's like even like 6th grade, that transition from elementary school to middle school, it's such like a eye-opening experience from like going to the people you've known for 6 years and then just like 4 times the amount of new kids. Like even that 6th grade year, I'm so grateful that I got to experience that full year once around, because I couldn't imagine that even being shut down. Like so many connections made in that year. Just there's so many examples where you could be like, oh, COVID happened then. Like there was a lot of that, but yeah, man, it's crazy.
It definitely forced some connections, and if you look back at what Chris did and kind of how we got into this with Hello 422, like had that not happened, you may not have started that, right? And like, I think that those businesses probably look at what Chris did at that time and they were like, wow, this dude just came along in like one of the hardest times and tried to help us. It wasn't like he came along like when everybody was booming and like, oh, I could probably make some monies off these businesses that are thriving. He was like, these businesses are struggling. Like, what can I do to help? And that's probably why he has such loyalty to them now. So like, I think like overall, like, yeah, in that sense, in a lot of ways, like relationships were more intimate and formed in a stronger way, whereas before we were all kind of just spread outward maybe a little more, and it forced us to kind of go into our communities and into our families and our households and just like explore that a little more.
Definitely. And so you mentioned you were working in the school, weren't you, in Philly? You were down in Philly. What school was it?
Yeah, it's an alternative school. It's called Camelot.
Okay.
Behavioral and emotional support school.
Okay.
And
yeah, it's cool because I think I remember you saying you started like a music program or production.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was great.
So where did you guys originally meet? How did you guys find each other?
Yeah, so Chris was doing Hello 422. His clients were Phoenixville, like you said, Royersford, Limerick, Pottstown, all of his kind of these businesses that he worked with. And then I was doing marketing for a brewery in Pottstown called Sly Fox Brewing Company. And I had, as part of the marketing I was doing for them, I started doing a lot of photo and video creation for them and running their social media and trying to get their web presence looking and feeling really good. And Chris, being in the Pottstown community, kind of noticed that on social media, like, wow, Sly Fox has like got some cool new content. Like, this is pretty neat. And he was at the time just networking within like photo, video, content creation so that he could offer those kinds of services to his Hello 422 businesses. And so he slid into the Sly Fox DMs, and he was like, yo, who's your content creator? Who's your photographer? And I was like, me, I'm Luke. And he was like, my name's Chris. This is what I do. Like, do you want to grab lunch? And that was, then we got lunch at Stonehouse Grill in Kimberton. Shout out Bill Rudder.
Yeah, I think during that lunch, you know, I was spitballing some ideas, and we were like, let's just put something on the calendar. Let's work together once, shoot something, and see how it goes. And we put together this video, and we spent the whole day shooting it and collabed with a bunch of businesses in Phoenixville. And yeah, it was a ton of fun. I even remember in the middle of that video shoot, you paused while we were walking on Bridge Street. You were like, let's get a picture together. And you're like, we're going to look back on this picture and remember it. I don't know if you remember doing that or not, but
I know exactly what the picture is. We're standing right outside of Molly McGuire's, and the Steel City mural is behind us. Yeah.
And, you know, in addition to Not Pizza, you know, leading up to that, we've now done a number of video projects, and we share some clients, and we, you know, we've become best friends.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We speak every day, multiple times on the phone, mostly about business, but we're also friends. We care about each other's families. And like, you know, it feels like I've known Chris my entire life. Like, I feel like we would have gone to high school or college together or something. We have that friendship, but we just met like a year and a half ago, maybe. And it's like, awesome. It's kind of weird to think about, but yeah, it's cool because in that meeting, Chris was like, let's make some stuff together. And I was like trying to grow my marketing portfolio, and I love shooting. I love filming and photographing. And Chris had all these opportunities, like, hey, I got this Anna Marie's breakfast over here. She wants a video for this. And I was like, let's get it. I got this place. And we were just shooting and shooting and shooting. And at that point we were like, hey, like, let's form a marketing company together. Like, let's formalize this. Let's come up with the name. Let's like put this out to the community, like that we are for hire as like a ad agency. Like, we'll shoot an ad, we'll run it, you know, we'll do a big collaborative post. And that became a formula that we still lean on today and is really successful for us. And we have formed that, but our focus really shifted when the Not Pizza opportunity came about, because we love the marketing, we love working with small businesses, and we continue to do that. But the Not Pizza opportunity, but we'll go back to, we'll just call it a canned cocktail opportunity, because we didn't even have the idea yet. But we had our business partner come to us and say, hey guys, like, this is something that we want to do. I could pay you to just market it, or like a retainer flat rate. Or if you guys want to put up some money, you guys could be owners in this with me, and you could brand it, you can market it, you could sell it, you could work your asses off and really be involved. And for us, it was cool because, you know, what we do with our marketing business, a lot of it is retainer based. So it's nice. You have a nice, you know, baseline of income, and it's comfortable, and you know, we have opportunity to grow within that. But the growth opportunity with the canned cocktail feels like it could be astronomical, you know, like if we really like work hard, and stay true to ourselves and like go for it, you know. So we were like, this we could really like feed our families in a very nice way through this venture. And the whole thing really, it plays into all of our skills, which makes it so much fun. And we're learning new skills as we go too. So it's just been such a fun adventure.
That's awesome. So when did that idea initially spark? When was that one that you said last summer ish? Fall?
It was not this past fall, but a year ago from fall. So is that fall?
The fall of 2023 was when the opportunity came, and we were like, all right, let's start putting pen to paper. Let's kick around some names. What are we gonna call this? What's it gonna be? What are the flavors gonna be? What are the cans? You know, there's like so much product development. So we started from scratch in the fall of 2023, and then we launched. We were like our first cans went to market in January 2025.
Yeah. So there's a full year and change of time between then. So we probably talked about this on your episode, but it was before the launch. You were close, but you were still in the like can process, I think I remember. So walk us through that full year of like constructing ideas, planning it out, and like what goes through that process that takes that much time.
Yeah, so the first thing was coming up with a name. I feel like that was our initial meetings and time spent was, what are we going to name this thing? Because then everything else, maybe not everything else, but a lot then starts to fall into place after you come up with that. But that's creating your identity, your brand. And we spent a long time looking at who our competition was, who else was in the space, and it's a very saturated market, this ready-to-drink cocktail space. And you see this reoccurring beach theme. You've got your Surfside, you got your High Noon, you got your White Claw. You've got all these very beachy, and it makes sense. You want to think of a nice, good time, warm on the beach, hanging out with friends, having a drink. So like it makes sense. So we looked at that early on as a
we
possibility.
had a name, Swellies, which kind of played on the swell of the wave, or have a swell day. Yeah, we were kind of kicking around we were looking at that same marketing approach.
But ultimately, and I think we even tested that on some people. Like we asked our circles of friends, family, and people, I think, were more excited that we had like, this is cool, but it was more just like, it's cool that you have the opportunity to be a part of a canned cocktail. They weren't excited about really the name. And we knew that the name didn't really excite us either. We wanted something that we could really get excited about, be different, be talked about, and not just get in line with these other brands where we're competing for shelf space and competing for eyeballs on social media, like something different. So we took a weekend off. We were tasked with coming up with, a list of 50 potential names. We had a shared note, and on my list, the 50th name on the list was Not Pizza. And it was just kind of this throwaway name, but just very different. It was very different than any other name on my portion of the list. And I really like this idea of you only needed two things for a good time: pizza and not pizza. I just thought like something kind of clicked with that. And yeah, Luke liked it too. We both really liked it, but we were both also a little like unsure about it because it's such a different, weird name. Like it took me a while till I told my wife what like the name we were thinking was. Like I was very guarded with who I told.
There was like this like self-consciousness in the first like couple months, even like telling people like I remember having a call with like this influencer, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna put out like not, and I said the name like 3 times, and he goes, bro, why do you keep laughing? You don't like the name? And I was like, like, oh, excuse me. I'm like, I need to just own this, you know what I mean? But there was definitely that like initial phase of, are we actually going to call this Not Pizza, Yeah.
And then that led to us, because we have 2 other business partners as well. And they're 2 a little bit older guys who have a lot of experience in the beverage industry, probably in their 60s, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
So we had to present to them that we wanted to name this Not Pizza, which is, again, way out left field name. And our one main partner, John, like to his credit, when we first presented it, it took a little bit of convincing. This was on a Friday, but he was like, all right, let's do it. And then he, came back on Monday, probably after a weekend of talking to his circle and his friends. And he came back on Monday. He's like, guys, there's no way we're naming this Not Pizza. So like
really?
Totally backtracked. And you're like, oh man, but we get it. It's a weird name.
Yeah, it's understandable.
So,
his friends and family were probably like, well, what are you talking about? And we then ultimately came back and we were like, hey, like, we understand that you don't want to call it Not Pizza, but if it's not pizza, then we kind of like, I don't know, we'll market it, we'll help you, but we're kind of like out on like the branding front. We feel really strongly about Not Pizza. At that point, we had come around, we'd come up with all these ideas in addition to there's 2 things you need for a good time: pizza, not pizza. We were thinking like, dude, we could do these big like not pizza parties. We could do, any pizza shop that sells alcohol, or even if they don't sell alcohol, you could do pizza reviews, tasting reviews, and we've already done these and had huge success on social media. We just paired our orange with a buffalo chicken pizza from this place in Pottstown, and we got a foodie influencer to do it. So now you've got, 3 or 4 collaborators, and, like 80K on TikTok and 115K on Instagram. Like these videos are doing really well. So like pizza is just a word that people interact with all the time, like weekly, if not daily. So like if we can live in people's subconscious as like not pizza, like every time someone hears pizza, they think of not pizza, then like, you know, it's kind of like why people choose the beach, I think, because the beach is like everybody loves the beach and they hear it a lot. Oh, we're going to the beach this summer. We're doing the beach. You can have pizza at the beach. You can have pizza in the winter too. You can have pizza year round, any time or place, you know? So
yeah.
As well as not pizza, as long as you're 21.
100%.
Yeah.
I love the like it just seems like there's so much like promotional opportunity and like there's such a big bubble of creativeness to be thrown under not pizza. Is
Totally.
that right?
Totally.
Well, it's also, so, you know, we tested swellies with people to get reactions. So obviously we started testing not pizza. And again, when we were testing some of these other names, it was like, okay, cool. And then that was the end of the conversation. But with not pizza, you got very strong opinions. You either got like, this is awesome, I love it, tell me more. Then you got a ton of, wait, what? I don't understand it. You're gonna have to explain this to me. Or you got, you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
Why would you name this thing not pizza? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Why are you doing this? But all three are like, there's a follow-up question. There's more talk about it. It's not like cool, or it's not like, ugh. You know, it's explain this to me, talk about it. And at the end of the day, when we're doing marketing, that's all you're competing for is that little bit of extra attention. Whether you see it on a shelf and you're like, well, what's not pizza? Like you're talking about, or your friend has it at a bar. Like it's a conversation starter. I tell everyone when we do tastings, I tell every single person who comes up, like, put this on your counter and it's guaranteed everyone's going to be talking about it. Or like you come, then what's the number one question people ask us when they come up? They say is, why did you name it not pizza?
And I say for that reason exactly.
Yeah. if we named it Sun Chaser, would you ask us why we named it Sun Chaser?
No, you'd be like, I get what they're going for, you know, but people are like, what are they going for?
Yeah. So through everything, well, first of all, before I get there, sorry, I don't want to throw. I just threw like two curveballs there. Flavor testing. So when you were in like the early stages of not pizza, what was that process like, and where did you decipher what flavors you were going to produce?
Yeah, it's a good segue because that's kind of what came next. It was like, all right, we got the name. Now, what are we going to do flavor wise? And I think we decided like, and this is kind of become true with a lot of what's come after the name. We were like, our name is really, you know, bold. It's out of left field. Let's be a little more straight shooting with our flavor choices, with our can designs, with our branding. You know, not every, you know, I was in a meeting with a couple of my friends, or we were just out to dinner, but they're like creatives. Every time we go out, we're talking about, you know, what do you have going on? And my one friend was like, and it's not a bad idea on his, but he was like, yo, what if you just took like a pizza, like a greasy pizza slice and like zoomed in so it was like pixelated and just wrap it around the can and that's it. And I'm like, nah, it's the opposite of that. Like the name is gimmicky and kind of like, what, not pizza, but the can is kind of sleek and sexy, right? And our flavors, back to your question, are not, you know, guava, pineapple, triple berry, you know, escape. It's like, just give me an orange seltzer. Yeah. Give me a berry seltzer. Give me an iced tea and a lemonade. And so that was kind of like, that was our thinking when we started to get into the flavor process, and then actually developing them was super cool. And I'll let you speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so we are not in the business of tweaking recipes and figuring out flavors. And also we knew these had to taste really good. They're not going to sell. We're not going to get repeat purchases unless it tastes really good. So we hired a company out of Louisville, Kentucky called Flavor Man. Best name ever.
So good.
They are one of the country's premier flavor development specialists for both alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. And how the process kind of works is you start with this Zoom call. You tell them what flavors you want to create and any like inspiration behind the flavors. They take their notes and turn it over to their flavorologists, these scientists. And, you know, a few weeks later, we received sample A and sample B for each of our first 4 initial flavors. So we sat in this conference room, cracked them open, tried them. They sent you like little notepads, tasting cups and everything. So you could say like, oh, for this lemonade, you know, it's good, but I wish it was a little sweeter. This one, I really like the smell, or I like the coloring for this one. But they ask you to send back notes for each one, like what you liked the best, but like what changes. You would send those back. Then 2 weeks later, you'd get sample C and D, taste those, and like so on and so forth, until you get to the point where you're so close to maybe deciding your final flavors that then you fly out to Louisville, Kentucky, which we did in like a whirlwind of 24 hours.
Yeah, I think we were in and out of Louisville in less than 24 hours. It was a super quick trip because we both have kids, and like, we're like, would have been nice to take the whole weekend and just check out the city, but we made the most. It was a fun trip.
Yeah, so we show up at Flavor Man in the morning. It's probably like 9 a.m. or so. Yeah. We're in this little room, and this team of probably like 30 people like from Flavor Man come in, form this like half circle around us, go down the line. They say what their role is at Flavor Man, what they do, how they're so excited we're here, and it was really cool.
It was really cool.
Really cool moment. And then they brought out our samples. We tasted them and gave tweaks in real time. They went back to their little laboratory, which was insane, like the laboratory they have there. Brought back samples with our tweaks, and we were able to decide on our not just our first 4 flavors, but we actually developed 6 additional, so a total of 10. But so we did our first 4, but then the surprise was they had our next 4 there too that we were able to pretty much get dialed in while we were there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was just more economical to batch develop the flavors rather than going back, oh, hey, we want to do another 1 here, another 2 there. So we were just like, let's long term it, and let's just pay for 10 flavors up front. And so we started with the orange and berry seltzers, and we'll get to the carbonation thing. But from a flavor perspective, some of the words that we used with them were like subtle, right? Refreshing, really light, because I've had like canned cocktail things before where I like crack it open, you take a sip and you're like, oh my God, like this is so sugary and like in your face. It's actually disgusting. Like I couldn't finish a whole can just because they were so sweet. Like a twisted tea, like I'm just like, what how do people drink these in volume? So we were just like, whatever we do, like especially back to, because the name is so bold, like the drink has to be the opposite, light, almost flavorless, just subtly sweet, just really, really nice and refreshing. And so they really stuck to those notes and delivered something that we're like super, super proud of. And now that we're in the market, have been getting like crazy good feedback and crazy good sales too on. So that's paid off. But yeah, we did the orange, the berry seltzers, and we did a vodka iced tea and a vodka lemonade. And then we did 2 more seltzers that were yet to release. These the 6 flavors I'm about to mention are yet to be released. We did a tropical seltzer and a black cherry seltzer, and then a iced tea lemonade vodka, Arnold Palmer, and a peach iced tea. And then those are all 5%, those 8. And then we have 2 12.5% flavors, sort of a heavy hitting cocktail, an espresso martini and a margarita. And those are soon to be released.
Yeah, that's cool. And it's worth noting too. So one of our biggest differentiators, what we did with Flavor Man, is that we chose to go the route of using real sugar in our drinks. Most of our competition, most of the other brands use artificial sweetener. And the reason they do that is so they can claim 100 or less calories in the drink. When this whole kind of line of RTD drinks came out, it was very much a play at this low calorie, think slim cans. Like it's this whole big marketing thing to be like, oh, well, you're having a drink, but it's 100 or less calories. So there's this whole big play. Flash forward 5 years, 6 years, it's now become a very much more mainstream type of drink. And we decided, we don't need to be under 100 calories. People care more about real sugar, not the artificial sweeteners. So most of our drinks have about 8 grams of sugar in it and come in at closer to 128 calories. And we consciously made that decision that, we wanted to have real sugar. The calories you're getting from ours are better calories. It's not the artificial sweetener from the other drinks.
Definitely. So what's the next step after that? After the taste testing, placing orders?
After the name and then the flavors, then it was the can design and like the brand, developing the cans.
What does that process entail?
Finding a graphic designer that we like really vibed with, and just sort of conveying our. Chris and I like had already compiled a lot of ideas and like inspo, like a Pinterest board, if you will, not on Pinterest, but like we had like a text exchange of like, I love these cans. Like Chris had these cans from this cool brewery called Finback that he was like, dude, look at this. And that was kind of like a clicking moment for us because they left a lot of the aluminum exposed on their can. And we thought that was really cool. We didn't end up doing that completely, but our original designs were like, where you see how we have this band wrapped around it, and then like where the light yellow is, you know, there's no text. Well, originally where that light yellow was going to be the chrome of the can, but it just evolves so much over time. You have to make so many decisions. But we found this graphic designer who was really great. His name is Tyler McCoy, and we sent him all the inspo and told him the direction, and he came back with like 3 options, but like it was very close to this, and we were like, dude, this is it. Like we want it to be simple, sleek, like sans serif fonts, real clean, and he kind of nailed it. But then we kind of hit this point where like, okay, we love the design, but we just, for something was wrong. Like we couldn't fully fall in love with the cans quite yet, and we were like, what is it? And I had a friend who is also a graphic designer, and we sent him the designs, and we're just like, hey, could you send us back a couple just like color options? Because maybe it was the color, and ultimately it was. And I think it was within like 2 hours of us sending him the things. He was like, what do you think of these? And we were like, it was just like light bulbs. Like, this is it. We just found it. Like, we got the design, and now we have the color combo. It was a really cool like graphic designer alley-oop moment. And yeah, we get so many compliments on the cans.
Yeah, they're sick. All the different colors. They just like pop, like you said, like the orange goes with the orange. Like it's straight to the point.
Now, should we talk about the current state of our cans?
Yeah, sure.
This is just a good, like, I think, like, sort of, you know, entrepreneurial behind the scenes moment. One thing we wanted to do when we launched our Instagram page in June, we were on the fence about whether or not we were going to put out social media. We were like, no, we don't even have a product. Like, why would we do it? But we wanted to take this build in public approach, which has really worked out well for us. So along the way, you know, if we're trying to decide, hey, should we do like a peach tea or a raspberry tea? Well, let's like post and ask people what they think, and then people feel like they're a part of the process, and they are a part of the process, and that forms, you know, loyalty, and people are building something alongside you. So it's been really nice. But one sort of behind the scenes thing that happened to us was our first round of cans, they're digitally printed, and so they print right onto the can, and they've got this matte metallic. I think those ones are the digital. Yeah, so you can kind of see if you rotate, like the Not Pizza has like a little metallic finish. The light, you know,
I do see that now.
Yeah, and then the rest of the can has this matte thing. So there's a combination of finishes on it, and we were like, these are perfect. But we got dinged with this like huge shipping cost because they weren't wrapped properly with corrugated cardboard, like things that you never would think of. Like if you're like, no, you just like order cans and they come. But like, it's just so many little nuances to it. So like they weren't wrapped properly. So we had to hire this private shipping company, and that was like a couple grand. And we were like, oh man, like we really just like had to eat all that money. So we found a different canning company, and they sent their cans. We were kind of
So we found a more local can company, but they do shrink wrap cans as opposed to directly printed on the cans. And we knew we might sacrifice a little bit with doing that, but when the cans actually arrived, there were certain elements that weren't matched, like the metallic of the words "Not Pizza" wasn't part of it, which to Luke and I was a huge deal.
Right.
Like that, like we spent so much time on these cans, and then, so you can see like on our digitally printed, that Not Pizza is like this metallic goldish color, and this is just that flat color.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, you can see with the shrink wrap, there's a little bit of curvature to the text because you know it's a shrink sleeve that's on there. It's not as perfect as printing it directly out. So for Luke and I, this was like a really big deal. We ended up having a call with the company, and like, I mean, and still in my opinion, they messed up. Like, they should have made it clear to us they couldn't replicate the metallic or find a way to replicate it, not ship us all this product that we paid for and it wasn't what we asked. Since then, and we've had so many other people see the cans and they're like, well, I can't even tell a difference, or like they still look great. So like we've eased up on it a little bit,
Yeah.
but we found a way to get back to our original cans. So like our next order that's coming later in April is back to the digital print cans with the same company. We just had to order a lot more of them, which we needed to do anyway to like kind of help with what the shipping issue was. But yeah, we had this whole back and forth about whether or not we wanted to make a big post about it and say like, our new cans, we don't like them. You know, they don't look as good. We're going
to launch the Drink the Shrink campaign because they're in the shrink sleeve. So it's like, help us, the tagline was like, get our cans back in their beach bodies for the summer of 2025. Like, let's get through these 2,000 cases of shrink sleeves. Cause like, but again, like, it's more so in our heads because like this is our baby. So like when I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, look at the curved government warning, and like it's so flat. And, like I hate the colors, but most people are like, these cans are awesome, and I'm like, they are. They still are great, but it's just like one of those little behind the scenes things that again like you'd never anticipate, and that's just one example of so many little bumps that you hit, and you're like, God damn, like I get all these approvals, and so much goes into it. Yeah.
So what has the distribution process been like?
You're looking at it. So in Pennsylvania, because it's a spirit-based drink, it's a vodka-based drink, you have to self-distribute. So we can't go through like a third-party distributor that you would with like beer or like Twisted Tea, which is a malt-based beverage. So literally the process is we have these not pizza magnets that have like, I don't even know, some sort of number on it,
Liquor Control Board number that we put these big magnets on our cars.
And then so I'm out delivering my Subaru Legacy sedan with just stacked full of cases. My car is so much riding so low to the ground.
That's what I drive.
And
Really? You're in a Legacy too?
I am in a Legacy right now, and someone threw up all over the outside of it last night, and I had to clean it off. So I'm kind of mad. But
I heard this story.
Well, it was about 15 hours ago, so it's fresh. It's very fresh. It's a very fresh topic. But continue. So
so we're delivering it. We have a couple other guys who are helping us with deliveries as well. A couple salespeople. So on the team, essentially, you have us 4 co-founders, but then we have a few salespeople who, they're essentially commission based, whether they sell or deliver. And, we have access to, we go out and pick up trucks sometimes to make it easier to load up, like if we have a large order, or have access to like a large van that we can use. But yeah, oftentimes it's just, whatever car we have available and loading up. Right now we're in the process of trying to grow our team. Because we learned very, at the beginning, we're like, we'll do it all. We'll do the marketing.
We don't need commissions. Like, we're in it. We're in it for the grind. And then we're like, whoa, this is it's just not sustainable and it's not scalable. And those are the two things we're trying to do: sustain and scale. So
definitely,
we need more people. We need more sales reps, delivery drivers, all that.
Which we're in the process of doing.
Yeah, we're doing a great job, I have to say. Like, we hit this point and we quickly were like, let's start tapping our network. And I think Chris, probably brought on 3 or 4 people. I've brought 3 or 4 people from my network, and all of a sudden we have like 4 or 5, maybe 6 sales reps that are like ready to go, trained up, and are hitting the streets on our behalf, selling Not Pizza, which is pretty cool. It's going well. Like we have this really great strategy, which is also works out well for us because it's super fun. But we throw these parties, and when we launched, we were calling them launch parties, but now we're just calling them like Not Pizza parties, where we are, the first one we ever did was in Phoenixville, which is kind of our home base, and huge success. We brought out 250 people to this bar. I'm doing live performances at these. Chris is pouring samplings of the unreleased flavors so people get a chance. We have a step and repeat where people can take a photo with the Not Pizza background. They're posting to socials, they're tagging. We wake up from these events with hundreds of new followers, and it's like, this is really beneficial. And we just did it in Lancaster. We just did it in Westchester, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. That one was huge, really successful. And so it's a great way for us to show up for those areas. Like the one we did in Lancaster, a lot of industry people came out to try our drinks, and then, that wherever the location we choose to have it, I was like, these guys are awesome. This is so cool. And then it sort of builds it brings the culture that we've created, this little Not Pizza community, to those spaces, so that we're not just everyone buy our drink, and we're going to contribute nothing to the towns that you're in. Like, we want to come out to you and like host something where people can feel like they're a part of it. And those are super fun. So in Phoenixville, after that initial launch party, we did one up in Wyomissing too. Then it was like, all right, it's go time. And we started getting into these distributors, which is super exciting because you're just like, oh my God, we're selling it. This is happening. And like, we sold 24 cases, which is a pretty standard order for distributors. And when we say distributors, like think like a big beer store, like a warehouse style beer store, right? As opposed to just like a restaurant or a bar. So they can order more volume because they have more storage on the floor or even in the back or whatever. And they sell more volume. So 24 cases at this place in Phoenixville called Superior Beverage, and they sold out of it in 48 hours.
Wow.
Of 24 cases.
That's pretty awesome.
It's a lot of like booze. Like, they were like, we've never seen something go through the shelves like that. Like, they're not the only distributor to give us that feedback. Then they ordered 48 cases after that. They sold out of that in like a week, 48 cases. Okay. Then they did another 24.
No, I think then it went to 80.
And then it went, okay, then their third order was 80 cases. And then now they're on their second 80 case order with us. So they sold through that first 80. And they keep saying, like, guys, like so many return customers, like, we can't keep this on the shelves. And like the guys at the brewery who like, where we make this and can it, you know, there's sales reps from other beer companies there. And they're like, I've never sold 80 cases of anything. Like, that's incredible. Like, you guys need to keep going, you know? So we're getting all these like green flags that are like, we are doing something right. We've had a really similar, while we're in the Westchester area, we have to shout out the beer mill in Westchester. The owner, Dave, is like the coolest dude. In fact, we said we should maybe recommend him for the pod. Yeah. He's probably our age. He's just like, he just looks cool. He's got the Blundstone boots, the Carhartt vest, the mustache, the cool like corduroy flat brim, like, and he really lives it. He's super chill. He's like, yeah, this is my place. I want to do this my whole life. I just love being able to walk to work and just sell beer. Like, he's just a cool cat. And very similar feedback there. Like, we do samplings too, right? So like, once we sell 24 cases to a distributor, it's not just like, good luck, you know. It's like, we want you guys to reorder, so we're going to come and set up a table on a Friday or Saturday, and we're going to pour free samples for people as they walk in and try to now sell it through. Right. You know, it's just one more layer, because then if you sell through, then they're like, we'll take another 24, you know, and the people in that area are taking your product home. Their friends are trying it. They're trying it. Everybody's like, this is really good. Where do I get this? And they go back to that distributor, you know, so there's a lot of layers. And like Chris said, you're looking at it like for the past like 3 months, like we've been really stretched thin, but we love it. We freaking love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. The whole Westchester community. So where are you in Westchester? And also the launch parties. You're out there singing like the Shabuzi, not pizza, singing like all that stuff. Is that like, what are you singing there?
I'm singing. We have a Shabuzi remix, a Billie Eilish remix, a Bruno Mars and Sexy Red remix. Now we haven't released the Sabrina Carpenter remix. We're gonna do that. It's espresso. It's espresso. So when we put out the espresso martini, we'll do that. And then we just did a distributor collaboration with the Post Malone and
yeah, not out yet.
It's not out yet.
Hopefully that's
so we've got
soon.
a couple in the pipeline. And why don't you tell them, because you just heard them, the evolved versions.
Well, so Luke has some originals that he's putting out for a brand new Not Pizza EP that are amazing. Did you just want me to say it so that I could like hype you up with how good they are?
Yes.
I mean, these songs are.
I just feel like
really
I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, I'm really excited for these to come out. I mean, Not Pizza originals, and they are really good.
They're sweet. I have 3 done. The goal is 5, and like back to, you know, just doing this different marketing thing. Like, you know, what other canned cocktail has an album on Spotify? Like,
right.
Nobody.
I mean, what kind of music even is it? Like, I couldn't even.
Right. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to write songs about a canned cocktail.
Well, and that's, so we're marketers.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these brands that have drinks, they're brewers or they're something else, but they're not marketers. We have a very different approach that people are latching onto. Like, distributors want to place orders with us because they also want to see themselves featured on our social media page. Like, we're just going about it in a different way, and we keep hearing this great feedback of like, you guys are doing it the right way. You're shouting out the places that are carrying it. You're being different. You're making it fun. And I think that's the difference between, having marketers kind of behind the brand is, that we can do it and think creatively this way.
Definitely. Yeah, and we're marketers and we're the owners, right? So it's not like we're the owners and we're good at developing drinks and we hired a marketing team. Like, we are the marketers who got help developing the drinks, and but we're owners of this, so we're really invested in the success of it. So I'm pulling, all of my creative levers, including music, to just do things differently and make this thing fun and unique. But yeah, the songs are they're good. But it's kind of cool because like they could almost live as their own songs. Like, for a second you forget that you're listening to something about a canned cocktail. You're like, damn, this is just like a cool track. And you're like, oh, this is about a drink called Not Pizza. Like, what world am I in? It's like, it's pretty sweet.
How did you get connected with Nick Myers and that game? Because shout out Nick Myers, because we saw the Woke Up You Won when they walked in.
Nick is so great.
So, and this is a good story because we knew all along that we needed to get into Westchester. It's a college town. It's like our ideal drinkers. Like, we were doing great in our home base area. Probably a slightly old, like probably more our age group demographic. But we knew, like, for this drink to really be a success, it's got to be popular with college age.
Yep.
And Westchester was close enough to our home base, but also far enough away that it was a little bit of a stretch for us. We couldn't just rely on our connections. We didn't really have any accounts that were just teed up for us. We got kind of lucky with the beer mill. Some customer had gone into the beer mill and asked them if they carried our drink. They didn't, so they reached out and ordered 24 cases from us, which was really cool. But we knew, so we're like, all right, we have to have a play on Westchester. How are we going to get in? Well, it just so happens that there's a pizza shop, Pizza Westchester.
That's where my mom picked up some Not Pizza.
Spear.
Spear. I've been trying to get him on the pod forever. Spear, if you're listening, just FYI, hop on the pod.
All right, we'll shoot him a text.
Spear's hard to pin down. He's such a busy man.
First-hand experience with that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so our play for Westchester was we got to create some really good piece of content in Westchester. We also have to link up with some local people in Westchester to help us spread the word. So the first thing we did, actually we did this both on the same day. We had reached out to Spear through a mutual contact, your chef buddy, Jay.
Shout out Jay Dish.
Yes, absolutely.
Jay Dish.
So we got Spear's attention. We said we wanted to come in and shoot a music video at his shop, and to his credit, he was like, yeah, LFG. So we show up and we shoot this awesome music video. I mean, this is just a super quick version of it, but we shoot this awesome music video there, like in the morning. He's a super cool guy. He seemed to hit it off, but I'm sure he didn't know exactly what he was getting into or like how well the video would end up playing off. So that was like in the morning. We shot this video that we were going to be collabing with Pizza Westchester, as like 35,000 followers. Steaks Westchester, which also has another like 20-some thousand followers. The Beer Mill made an appearance in it. They have, again, another local shop in Westchester, probably like 8 to 10,000 followers. So we had a good collaboration, and we had this awesome remix song that Luke, remixed and performed. This awesome video. So we knew we had a great piece of content that was going to be seen by a lot of people. So that was in the morning. In the afternoon, we went over to Beer Mill, and I'm, recruiting Westchester area people to come meet us at the Beer Mill for a photo shoot with our product that they can help us promote and say, like, it's at Westchester. And I mean, I'm DMing all of these like college kids.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. If Chris is gonna hype me up on the music, I have to hype Chris up on his ability to reach out and connect and build these little networks, because there was Spear and there was Jay, but none of that happens without like Chris's initiative. Like we said, we were like, we gotta build a little pool of friends and community in Westchester. And within like 3 days, Chris was like, yo, I got a DM back from this girl. I found another girl who's very involved on campus, and this guy Dave hit me back, and he said his buddy Nick and Mike want to get involved, and I got 12 kids to come out to do a photo shoot for the tasting. And then on top of that, he's very strategic, and like you know, if they come to the you know, the pizza video shoot, then we could do a photo shoot with them, and then we could send them a Google Drive link, and they can post and they can tag their friends, and we could do a giveaway with a cooler. And if you tag 2 friends and a bar in Westchester, then you enter for a chance to get the cooler. Like that, those kind of layers to it are like, you know, the things that people don't really see that end up with the success of the party that we just had at GBU, right? Like there was like 75 to 100, maybe 100 plus people there because of that sort of outreach and growth that Chris is very good at. And Nick, to back to your question, was one of the people that path like led us to meeting Nick, you know?
Yeah. I think you're dead on with like the college audience with Not Pizza for sure.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, let me know. I know a lot of younger kids in Westchester. I know you already got your connections, but
no,
I was at like with the musician I was telling you about. We played a Westchester frat back in December. We played SAE at Westchester, like 500 kids there, like stuff like that. I'm sure you guys would kill.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Like let's talk about those types of events. Even your birthday party or your graduation party.
Yeah,
we'd love to be a part of that. Like
definitely.
We're always looking for those opportunities. And it's cool too because, you know, like we said, that process led us to Nick, and it led us to this kid Mike and Taya and this kid Dave, who is absolutely great. And like it attracts the right people too, which is really cool to see, because there's so many, all these kids that are coming out to these parties are like, they're creative, they're focused, they want to be a part of something, they're fun, they're outgoing, they're curious, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's cool to be like, to know that the brand and like the things that we're doing are attracting this sort of wave of younger people who are tastemakers and, you know, community builders as well.
Yeah, definitely. Do you see yourself dancing down the street in Westchester again for a music video? Remember we talked about it on the
ideally,
last episode?
I mean, I think like ideally, yeah, like this song that we're about to do with Superior. So like Superior Beverage in Phoenixville that we've had so much success there. They hit us up and they were like, hey, we're trying to like be more of a modern beer distributor. Like when people come in, we want to give them an experience, and we want to get good on social media. Like, would you guys give us an hour of your time as like a consulting and just like tell us like how do we get better at social media? So we gave them some pointers and told them, you know, get this wireless mic here and post about this. Here's some concept ideas. And in that meeting, this like idea kind of came up organically because one of the guys that works there looks like Post Malone, and he gets it a lot. I was like, Ryan, did anyone ever tell you look like someone? He was like, everyone says Post Malone. I'm like, great. I was like, let's remix a Post Malone song. And that Morgan Wallen Post Malone song is I Had Some Help. And when you go to a beer distributor, what they're trying to do is provide help. You come in, you know, and the song is help me pull that bottle off the shelf. It's like too perfect. Like, so when you go into Superior, it's like, all right, like you had some help, like recommend a really tasty bottle off your shelf. Like what do you like? So we remix the entire song. We're going to shoot a music video there. The kid Ryan's going to play, you know, we're going to put some temporary face tats on him and have him like dress him like Post Malone just for the, and so, but like, I'd love to do something like that with Beer Mill.
Yeah.
And like keep growing that. This is why I really would love for Not Pizza to become my full-time job, so I could just focus on the marketing, because Chris and I are taking 0 pennies from Not Pizza up to this date, and we've spent a lot of money on it, and we've spent even more time, sweat equity, because we believe in it so much. You know what I mean? Like, back to Chris has 2 kids, I have 3. It's very hard to spend money and time at all when you have children, especially when there's no money coming back in. It's hard to justify that. It's a huge risk. Luckily, we have really supportive wives and families. Shout out to Jess. Shout out to Kathleen. Love you guys. Like without people around us like that, like we could not do this. Especially with something called Not Pizza. People are you kidding me? And you're about to spend how much money on that? Like, but we're rolling the dice. We're betting on ourselves, and we're playing the long-term game. Like we really do. Chris and I, you know, we don't even really have to check in on this, because we both see the long-term play on this. And there's so many green flags along the way. So many people like, yo, you guys you're gonna see it pay off. Like keep going, you know. So feels good.
That's awesome. The encouragement, right? To keep going.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, I love that.
It
Support
helps.
system, everything.
I was super curious, like when, you know, we knew we were gonna get you guys on the pod, like, how's it going after just, you know, you talking about like getting it started and all that, and I was like, really curious to see where it's at, but it's pretty awesome to see it's going well.
Yeah, I think that there's, most people catch up with you through social media. And I love the phrase because I know it's my friends trying to give me props, but like when people are like, bro, you're killing it, like, well, what do you think? Do you think that I have a lot of money in my bank account because Not Pizza looks like it's taking off? Like, that's sweet of you, but no, like we are, we're mostly just in that hustling phase,
yeah, I mean, I'm still just as excited that we get like a 4-case order from somewhere.
Totally.
And like at the end of the day, that 4-case order probably means, I don't know, like $10 for each of us, like in the grand scheme of things. But like, just even those are little milestone victories. Like we're into a new place. Yes. Like you get those better 24-case orders and that's awesome. But it's just keep building. How do we get into a new account? And that's what's exciting. We do these tastings. We did one in Philadelphia the other day. And afterwards, I think we both looked at each other and like, no matter where this goes, like if it turns into some big success, which we want it to, we always need to be going back and doing these tastings.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to talk to people, explain Not Pizza, pour them samples of a drink that's really, really good. We're not pouring drinks of something that they don't like. We get all these like wow moments. Like this is so good. And that's just never going to get old.
Yeah.
Like, never going to get old.
It's true. Let's tie it all back to that because at the end of the day, yes, the product is really good, especially in comparison to some of the other things that you find out there, which a lot of them I find disgusting. Some of them are pretty decent, but ours are the best.
Simple as that. What do you say? Is it safe to say that your expectations have been exceeded in the past months since starting this distribution process?
100% on my end.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It was hard to know. Again, like I've never launched a product. So my expectations were kind of like, I didn't really know. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know what distribution was going to look and feel like, or what sales were going to look and feel like. I did think I was going to be like a sales ace, and I'm finding out that it's hard. Like I was like, I could talk to people, I could sell, like I've been selling my whole life, but I haven't really. I've just been marketing. I haven't been selling.
Yeah.
But it's harder, especially when you can find yourself in these situations where you're like, hey, here's our price. And somebody's like, well, what if we did this, this, and this? And you're like, I'm not sure. Like,
let me call Chris.
Chris, can I do this? Chris is like, no. Tell him this. Do you want me to just get on the phone? And I'm like, kind of. But I'm closing some accounts. But Chris, again, to put a feather in his cap, is an incredible salesperson, and in a very authentic way. I think last Friday, like on our ride to the Poconos, we're on a text thread with our other two business partners. Chris was like, we sold 114 cases today in just one day.
Wow.
So we're on the phone, we're stopping in places. Hey, can we leave a couple cans for you guys? You try them out. Some people are like, oh, we already heard it. You tell the story where you went in, guys.
Yeah, so I walk into this beer distributor in Royersford, which is an area that we are doing very well in. We have another distributor in Royersford who's sold through like 3 or 4 rounds of orders from us. And it's just in our backyard of where we're known. Like we have the advantage of that Route 422 corridor. Like people know who Chris and Luke are from other things that we've done. So I walk into this distributor. I've got, a Not Pizza in my hand. I'm like, hey guys, have you guys heard of Not Pizza? I'd never been in there before. And the guy looks me dead in the face. And he's like, I forget exactly what. He's like, are you serious?
No,
like,
he said, shut the F up.
Yeah, he said, yeah. It's like, shut the F up. And I look at him like kind of taken aback. And I'm like, I don't know, did I offend him or like, and he's like, come back here. And like, there's a counter there. I'm like, behind the counter? He's like, yeah, come back here. So I have this is like my first sales call of the day. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I getting into? So I walk behind this counter and he shows me his computer and pulled up on his computer is the Not Pizza website. He was literally, the second I was walking in, was on our website trying to look how to contact us.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so they actually, they get their order next week. So they're like, it works out that way.
Our website needs a little work.
A lot of work.
So I spent hours this week making a Motive website.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally gonna put out a Motive website. I'm using this website called Webador. I don't know. My friend suggested it to me. I don't know. It's like a monthly subscription. Is that normal for a website?
Yes, I pay mine annually, but yeah,
Okay.
it's just like cheaper if you lump it. But yeah,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna
Webador.
go for
There's
it.
probably so many,
Yeah,
Squarespace,
definitely.
Wix,
Right.
Webador, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, just lots of options.
So hey, coming to you soon.
Yeah.
So overall, what's the future look like? I mean, I'm sure I can take a guess, generally speaking, saying expanding location, flavors, all that stuff. But what are the big goals and all that stuff?
Well, it's getting a team. We have probably 8 to 10 people who over the next 2 weeks are going to really dip their toes in to see if they can sell for Not Pizza. I think if we get even half of them to pan out and like doing it and succeed at doing it, I think that would be a huge win for us. So most important is growing our team so we can scale. And then later in April, we have a massive order of cans coming in. So at that point, it's going to be, right now we're just strictly Pennsylvania. So I think when that next order comes in, it's all right. How do we get into New Jersey? How do we get into Maryland, Delaware? Like where I was exchanging Instagram messages today with this distributions guy who's like, I've got one of the best distributors in Georgia. I can put you on a list of 4 other RTD drinks that they might be interested in repping, and they're the biggest in the state. Like, all right, what do you need from me? And I have to send them all this
you
information.
didn't tell me
Monday.
this.
Yeah, it was earlier today.
Where's the update?
Damn.
I figured out a seat tonight. But yeah, so it's growth. It's how do we get into new markets?
Jersey Shore is like a great goal for this summer. Jersey's a little tougher to figure out. There's all these laws, right?
I was just gonna ask, what are the laws like?
Yeah, we don't.
Well, so it's state to state.
Yeah.
So like in Pennsylvania, again, we slap a sticker on, we can go deliver it pretty much anywhere. You can't do that in New Jersey. Like New Jersey is a state you have to go through a distributor. Like I could go sell it to some bar in New Jersey, but I can't deliver it. So then you have to like essentially sell your product to this distributor, and then the distributor goes and sells it to the other place. And there's a lot of states.
Yeah.
That are like
So
that.
so when we say distributor, it's different from a beer distributor. It's like a almost like a wholesaler. So it's like this big company with a fleet of trucks, and they have a portfolio of Sam Adams, Corona, Sly Fox beer. And then they have Surfsides, and they have just this portfolio, and they're the only ones. And there's a lot of those companies, distributor companies in the state of Jersey, but you can only get your thing into a store in Jersey if you sell it to those people, and then they distribute it to the stores. You can't go directly to the store.
And you can,
in Pennsylvania, you can.
Yeah, and you can live and die by who you pick as your distributor, because ultimately you're trusting them with your product. So do you go with the biggest one who maybe has the most sway, but they also are repping 50 other RTD drinks, and like, are they going to really push yours or not? Or do you go for that like smaller group who maybe only has one other RTD, but they're not as well known, but like give them a shot to like really sink their teeth into a product? So there's a lot to consider that we haven't really thought about or talked too much about, and that's what's coming next, because our next order of cans, to get back into these nice cans, we had to put in a very substantial order.
It's funny you mentioned state laws, because I was talking with my 18th birthday was Friday, and I was talking with my grandmother. My parents, they're like, so what can you do that you're 18? They're like, well, used to be like I could buy alcohol like out in, they grew up in like Ohio, West Virginia, my dad's side of the family. They're like, it used to be like when you were 18 you could go over to West Virginia, like the border. Of course it's like West Virginia, but go over to West Virginia, and there was like a law, I guess it was like under 3.2, and if you were 18 and it was under 3.2%, it was legal. But
so what could you drink? Like,
God knows. I don't
what's
even
under
know. But they were like, how much they actually followed that law was a different thing. But it was just funny to hear. And and just 18 in general. Like even my mom said when she was in school, like sometimes they go down to like DC, and the DC bars would be like 18. So
you can get lottery tickets now, right? Isn't that like
cigarettes?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, can you buy cigarettes?
I think
forget.
Cigarettes changed.
That's 21 now.
Yeah, I think it's 21.
I think there's some like smoke products that you can like buy 18, but you're not allowed to smoke. Like it's weird. It's so it's very interesting. But yeah. To wrap it up, the future. Anything else you wanna throw in there?
An EP.
Yeah, we're gonna be dropping
an
an EP in addition to the EP, because we want to squeeze all the content out of it. We have a couple of great like videographers and producers. Like it'd be cool to get Danny on one, maybe. Like I'm gonna text him to him. But like this kid Brendan Mascherino, he's from Downingtown. He's a great director. We're gonna work with a couple videographers to shoot some fun content, and then from that content you could do a bunch of breakout, you could do behind the scenes stuff, and just continue to show people that like we're just having fun with this. We're making songs about this stuff. We're shooting music videos, and the music videos will be very silly, like you know, the one scene we've kind of for the one song kind of has this like cool like 80s thing. You know, I want Chris like in a turtleneck, you know, a mock turtleneck with a mustache, like sitting at a piano and like a cigar lounge vibe, you know, like a little electric piano in the corner or something. I don't know. We're just want to keep it real kind of yo, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe of the songs. EP distribution in New Jersey would be awesome for this summer. We got to figure that out. But it's like summer's here. Like as I
80-degree day yesterday. I was living it up.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But yeah, just continuing to grow and expand. There's so many things to juggle when we're doing this, and we're just trying our best. So that's the plan for the immediate future.
Yeah, I think it's a great place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Thank you guys for coming. Of course. Best of luck with everything. The Jersey thing would be sick. Hope to see you guys around Westchester, Pennsylvania, everywhere. It's only up from here.
It's only up.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So thank you boys for coming. Chris,
Yes, sir.
Luke, Kyle, Cohen. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Oh, shout out Not Pizza everywhere. Where can you get it? Where should we find you?
At Drink Not Pizza on Instagram and TikTok. And if you go to find.drinknotpizza.com.
Or just our Instagram, you do the link tree. There's a store locator.
There's a store
Put in
locator.
your zip code.
For the younger audience right there. The
Yeah.
Instagram link too. Guys, thank you for coming once again. And Motify guys signing off. Peace. See you next week.